Welcome everyone. Today I actually meeting with Patrick Montreuil here. Patrick lives just north of Montreal, and the reason why I'm meeting with Patrick today is just because it's been an interesting story to listen to. From my perspective, there's a certain aspect that I can't relate, but I know there's a lot of people that can definitely relate, especially with a family-oriented type of people, right? So people that has a family, kids, the thing is that we live in a world right now, especially in the first world country, where, we typically live a good life. It kind of looks like we live a good life compared to a lot of other regions kind of thing. But the thing is however, we still have our own struggles. We still have our own struggles of having to commit to working a 9-to-5 job, having to be in there all the time, waking up early in the morning, and then he's there till later in the afternoon. I think it's like just around 3:30, and then it's like family time, and then it's dinner and all that stuff. So it gets to be a very busy life, especially in Montreal, because if we look at any major cities, it's the whole rat race type of a lifestyle, right? So waking up early in the morning, race to work for the full time, and then race back home, rush to do all the things, cook dinner, take care of the kids, and then you got maybe a couple hours just to be able to have to yourself in the evenings, which makes it a very short amount of time to do the things that you really enjoy or work on any other sort of projects, right? And so the life that we tend to think that is actually looking really good, it's also causing a lot of stress, right? So causing a lot of stress, anxiety, a lot of pain. And one of the things that I admire about Pat is that when it came to a point where it was just kind of like, okay, I had it, I'm done with it. Like, it came to a point for him where he just couldn't do it anymore. He wanted to make some changes. He started to look for a way to do that. And like many people these days, they are looking at the internet to get started, right? So they're looking at maybe starting an online business, maybe an e-commerce business, maybe a YouTube channel. Like, they're looking at different ways to generate an income online, but just don't know where to start, right? And so Patrick had an idea of wanting to get started or doing something different that will give him the time freedom, the financial freedom to be able to be more with his family, be able to travel, be able to do more of the things that he enjoys, and also do something that is exciting as well too. And so one day he came across a way to be able to do that. So Patrick, tell me a bit about the time when that happened. So shortly before you started to search online, what was in your mind? Like, what was on your mind, and what was motivating you to look for that way out, or that way to be able to learn how to figure out a way to make an income online, maybe running an online business, and escape that whole rat race?
First, I had 2 jobs, and I'm an industrial mechanic, so I'm trading time for money, and more of that, I had a sideline in construction, and that gave me a lot more work than I thought, and that means I wasn't present at home. I wasn't at home for my family and friends, and so at the end of the day, I realized that it wasn't the kind of life I wanted at my beginning when I started to learn my job as a student. Mm-hmm. I wasn't able to see myself. Don't be present for my kids. Don't be present for my girlfriend. So I realized one day, after a couple of hard moments, I realized that it wasn't the kind of life I wanted. So I was looking for a way to generate passive income. And I was looking for YouTube, Google, Facebook, and one day I stumbled upon a video, and I stumbled upon a guy. Now he became my mentor, and the way he was talking to me in his video was exactly what I needed and what I would like to reach as a new height, as a new life. The way he talked reached me.
It resonated with you.
Yeah, it resonated a lot with me. And because my kids told me a lot of times that you are never at home, that we need you, and you are always away. We love you, Dad, but you are never at home. When your kids tell you something like that, you realize that, okay, I have to change something, and I must change something. In that video, the way he was talking to me, I resonate with him a lot, and I realized that it's possible to have an income, an online income, and be able to get quality times with your family. That's the most powerful for me, the most powerful for that system. It's
most
because
for you. Like
yeah,
it's
the
the
most important
value for
yeah,
you is to be able
yeah.
to spend time with your family.
Spend time with my family and don't be my own system, because in my old life as a trading time for money, I was my own system. So if I wasn't there, then I had no income.
Right.
So
You
now
had to trade your time for
Yeah.
generating an income. And
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it, or that was the only way to do it, really.
I thought that was the only way to
Yeah.
do it. And now I have the opportunity to get more quality time with them, with my family and friends, and get an online income. And we have internet almost everywhere.
Yeah.
So as long as I have my laptop and the internet connection, I can run my business.
Interesting.
So one thing that I didn't mention as well too is that Patrick's first language is French. Mine is first language is French as well too, but I happen to practice it. But it's really interesting to see Patrick coming from a basic, foundation of English. Like just having an understanding of English, be able to hear it and understand it. But for him to actually get into this and coming into this space with primarily his first language being French and then English very, not practiced as much basically, right? And to just see him as well to come this far, that shows that there is a drive inside of Patrick so strong to learn this, to grow with this, and to be able to implement the things that he's learned as well too, and also to be able to communicate that, right? Because Patrick, like you want to help other people as well too, and want to help other people to create that sense of freedom and that sense of lifestyle as well too, to be able to spend more time with their family and escape the whole idea and the whole life of like driving, being up at 5 o'clock in the morning or 3:45 in the morning and driving for an hour and then being at work for 8 hours and then driving back and then repeating that same thing every single day, right? And it has its toll, and I think a lot of people are waking up to that point right now where they're feeling all this pressure of constantly just trading their time, repeating the same process, running after time, living for the weekends, thinking that they can outrun time, but they're always losing out of time. And it's always come to a point where there's just like, where does this end? Where does this end? But it repeats, right? It keeps repeating itself, and it's very, very interesting to see the shifts of like things that's happening right now. So what kind of career that you have? You did speak a bit about it, but you were a carpenter, and then right now you're like just your most recent job basically is working in a company that manufactures buses, and you are in there. What's your role right there?
I'm in charge of all the maintenance inside the building and all the production line. So it's my job as an industrial mechanic.
Yep.
And now because of my online opportunity, I have the chance to skip my second job as a carpenter. Mm-hmm. My next goal is to replace my full income to get a full online income. Mm-hmm. When you was talking about being stuck in the traffic, the trading time for money, when you are stuck in the traffic, but you know that you have a system is working for you, even though you are stuck in the traffic, you are not looking at the traffic in the same way.
Yeah, good point. Because then it's like running on systems and basically running on autopilot, right? Like that's the whole beauty of running an online business using your laptop, is that once you set up the system, then everything is running in the back end, so you don't have to always be in there and then taking care of the customer and having the conversation with the customer and taking care of their needs and then delivering the products like a traditional business would, right? Like you think about a traditional business with a store and everything like that, there's a lot of effort and time that needs to be involved in there. So you're essentially just continuing to trade your time for money, because you still have, even though you could be the owner of, let's say, a traditional business, you still have to be in that business most of the time taking care of people, taking care of your employees, taking care of inventory, taking care of so many different things. But while the digital world, most of it can run on systems, right? That can run on autopilot, so you don't even have to worry about it. So it's really an interesting, opportunity.
But like you said, there's a lot of work to do for everything, to build for everything from the beginning. If you take me as an example, like you said, I'm not an English person. I didn't know how to do copy paste. I didn't even have a laptop. So for me, I had a lot of obstacles, but my desire to change my life was bigger than my obstacles. So I knew that if I want to have an online business and advertise throughout the world, the international language is English. So my first obstacle was in English, so I have to speak in English. So at first I learned English, passed throughout the module 1 first, module 2, module 3, and at the end of the day, you're gonna succeed.
Yeah.
You don't have to pass the whole staircase. Just pass
The
one
first.
step, the
Right.
first step, not look up, look at the first step, and then the second one.
Yeah.
And my second obstacle was I didn't know how to do copy paste, like I told you, but everything inside that system is for person like me, for beginner. It's very easy step to do, to follow.
Yeah, because it's a good point. Because I mean, the majority of the time, a lot of people know that this is going on and know that they can do this, but they just don't feel like they can do it, right? They don't feel like they don't have the technical skills, the technical knowledge. Like you said, not knowing how to do copy paste, or and sometimes, there are people that knows the basics of it, so they know how to look up their emails, maybe go on Facebook and things like that. So the idea of starting an online business could be very, very overwhelming for someone who has no clue on how to do it. And so it scares a lot of people away, right? It's just kind of like, they know they want this, they know they want a life of freedom, they know it's possible in the digital world, but they just stop themselves right at that point when they say, I can't do it because I don't have the skills and knowledge on how to do this. And yet, you're just saying right here, right now, first obstacle is your language, which you are learning and growing with, which is, you said, I'm not going to stop myself because I can't speak English. And then you also said, I'm not going to stop myself because I don't know the technical skills. And then what you did as well, too, to resolve that is you went and became resourceful, right? You became resourceful and say, okay, well, how can I do this, right? And that's when you discovered a solution, right? You discovered a education program that's been able to help you learn that, I believe, and that's what you've been telling me. Like, it's just kind of like giving you the step-by-step, which sounds like really what is going to solve one of the biggest problem in just getting started in the digital world is how do you get started, right? Like, what are the skills on how to run an online business, build a website, do marketing, things like that. So what else as well, too, that you would feel like would be an obstacle for you, or what has been an obstacle for you on your journey?
Time was an obstacle.
Yes.
And I didn't put a deadline on my success. And the beauty of that thing is you can build it part-time. So I still have my 40 hours weekly job. So every evening I'm in front of my laptop and do a little baby steps.
Right.
And now I have my YouTube channel, my Facebook channel, my own website. Now I know how to build a website. If you will tell me that a couple of years ago, I will run away from you, my friend.
Yeah.
Now I know how to build a website and everything. I learned everything because of that system, because of SFM. Once the system is built and well set up, you have systems working for you 24/7. That's the beauty for me. Don't be my own system.
And it's really interesting to hear that as well, too, because even then, we tend to say, well, I don't have the time. And it's true. Like, we do have the same 24 hours a day, like you, I, Tony Robbins, even a lot of successful entrepreneurs out there, even motivational, inspirational people that we tend to look up to, and we're like, oh man, it'd be awesome to be that type of person and that lifestyle. But yet they have the same 24 hours, right? And so it's all about how we prioritize our time. we can all find ways to be more efficient, right? So that kind of like, eliminate things that doesn't serve us and then focus on the things that serves us to get us closer to our goals, right? And the whole idea, like, I really like the attitude of like saying, you know what, this is my goal, and there is just, I know that I'm going to get there, and it's going to take whatever time that it takes to get there. And what's really interesting about that, and that's again another thing that where I feel as well too that I'm seeing that stops a lot of people, and I had to overcome that myself as well too in my own journey, is the whole idea of thinking that, like, well, I don't have the time, so I need to wait till I have more time. So we think that we need to have all the lights to be green before we go, before we even get started. And the thing is that very thing is going to hold us back a lot. It holds a lot of people back from taking that first step to even moving forward, because we think that we need to have everything lined up before we even take and go ahead. The other thing as well too, we tend to think, well, we need to get this like in 3 months from now, 6 months from now. Like, I need to like be successful, and I need to have a guarantee of success within like 3 months. Otherwise, I'm going to quit, kind of thing. And that very attitude stops, again, a lot of people and causes a lot of people to fail, because they put a deadline so quickly and basically too, like without the proper expectations to attain that. So they're putting that pressure to attain that, and then that's it. And if that doesn't work, then that's it, and they let it go. The very thing is kind of like, the way I like to compare it to is like going to the gym, like it's, you can go with someone can go to the gym and say, well, you know what, I want to lose 50 pounds and get ripped within 3 months, right? But like, let's say you have 50 pounds to lose and you want to get ripped. 3 months, depending on where you're at, depending on the amount of effort that you put into it, depending on the amount of time that you put into it, depending on the dedication and really the drive to achieve that, it may be possible, but chances are maybe won't be possible to achieve, right? Because 3 months may be too quickly. And it depends from one person to another, again, as well, too. But you're just putting yourself, you're basically setting yourself up for failure in a lot of cases when you're setting up and saying, I need to have this right away. And what happens with that as well, too, is we tend to focus on strictly that goal, and then we don't tend to actually put in quality work to get there, right? And one of the things that I'm sure you can attest to is what really matters in the whole, in achieving that goal. What's most important? I guess I'll ask you this: what's most important between now and achieving your goal?
Consistent action and the mindset.
Yeah.
The mindset is maybe the most important thing, and take consistent action, because like you said, you just gave the example of the gym, lose 50 pounds and get ripped. It's not because you subscribe to a gym that's good you're gonna lose 50 pounds.
Right.
If you don't go inside and works and sweat, you're not gonna lose it.
Right.
You have to subscribe first. Okay, maybe you're gonna have to change your nutrition. Let's say your nutrition is like your mindset. You're gonna have to change your nutrition. Start to eat well, maybe eat less, and take consistent action to be more present inside the gym, be more present for your online business, and change your mindset. You're not gonna succeed because a lot of people think that because it's an online business, I'm gonna succeed just by a couple of clicks. That's not gonna happen like this.
Yeah.
You have to work. It's a business. If you treat your business like a hobby, you're gonna be paid like a hobby. If you treat your business like a real business, because it's a real business, it's an online business, it's throughout the world, and you're gonna be paid a lot more than trading time for money.
Yeah.
That's the shift of mindset that people have to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see it as a journey, see it as a journey to be able to learn this and grow through it and attain these skills, these really important skills that's going to serve us really for the long term. Because, I mean, let's face it, the world is changing and a lot of things are going out on the digital side, and like a lot of the businesses are going online, a lot of opportunities are more online now, or even a lot of opportunities require a certain set of skills that requires to be able to do things online using the internet and using the tools. Especially like something like marketing, especially in business, marketing is very important, because if you're able to market your message, if you're able to market yourself, you're able to market the product that you are promoting, then you'll be able to sell anything, really. So it's really incredible to be able to have this opportunity to now learn this and apply this, and to be able to have these skills that's going to serve us for the rest of our lives. So what are some of the things that right now, you would say, like if someone, let's say, actually let's go through this. So let's say I'm a person, so about 40 years old, let's just say I'm working in a full-time job. I'm working 8 to 5 every day. Sometimes I might be working longer hours. Maybe I'm doing extra hours just to generate more of an income because I need to support my family. But I'm fed up. I'm fed up with all of this. I'm feeling the pain. I'm having a lot of stress and anxiety. I'm dreading to wake up in the morning, and I want to make some changes. And I'm interested in getting started. Where would you direct someone like me who's feeling those pains? And especially if I want to spend more time with my family. I have kids that I can't even see them because I'm always at work. And by the time I get home, my kids are, doing their own thing. And then I see them for an hour, and then they're in bed, and then it starts all over again. And I only get to see them on the weekends. Like if I'm feeling this and I'm in this situation, and I come to you, Pat, and I say, Pat, please help me. Like, can you direct me with something, like somewhere that I can get started? What would you recommend?
Good question. And the first thing I recommend, there's gonna have a link on the screen. Click the link, write your name and email, and gonna have access to the same free video series that I get when I get started. That video series is gonna explain you the difference between the digital world and the traditional economy. It's gonna explain you what we are talking about when we are talking about online business, the different opportunity, because you have the e-commerce business, the affiliate marketing, consultant business, the website designer. There's a lot of opportunity online. Mm-hmm. But the purpose of this free video series is to explain you what you can have online, the opportunity you can have online. Write your name and email and access to the free video series, so it's free. So you have absolutely nothing to lose. You just told me that you are fed up of your life and you want to change something. So to take an informed decision, to take an adult decision, first, have the information, it's free. And after you will have the knowledge to say, yes, this is for me, or no, this is not for me. But before say no, write your name and email, get the free video series is free. You will have one email a day inside your inbox. You will have the opportunity to finally have a systems working for you and have your own online business. Once you have the systems working for you, you cannot even imagine the beauty of quality moment and be more present with them. It's huge to know that even though I'm with you here today, I will be with my kids tomorrow, and in the end, I know that behind of me, I have a system to take care of me and all my family. For me, that's the beauty of the online business. Even though I'm sleeping, I will be in the bed tonight. I have the opportunity to wake up the next morning and get more in my account.
Awesome. And how, so when you made your first sale online, how did it feel for you? Or what, so how, actually first, tell me the story of first when that happened, like when you first saw that you made that sale, and how did you feel?
You know what, when I made my first sale, my first big sale, I was having a nap. It was during a power nap in the middle of the afternoon, and I get an email, and I just made $5,000 during a nap. For me, it was impossible before. So once I realized that now it's possible. I knew that it was possible, but I didn't get the result.
Right.
That give me the proof, because we are all human.
Yes.
And we, even though I'm believing the system and believe in everything online, we all need proofs.
Yes, of course.
And it was maybe the better proofs I needed.
And that's one of the things as well too that holds a lot of people back, right? It's like, you know, okay, I can find the skills. Okay, maybe I can set up the time for it. You know, I can like have an opportunity or like set up a couple hours a day to be able to build this, or maybe more depending on, you know, where you're at in your life type of thing. But then the other thing that comes up is, well, who am I? You know, who am I to do this? And am I valuable to do this? And would people actually pay attention, or would actually care about what I do? Or can I do this? Do I really feel like I can be successful with this? And a lot of people can like stops themselves from that. And sometimes it could be subconscious, right? It could be subconscious. We don't feel it. We don't see it. But it just kind of like, it's kind of there holding us back in a way. And we're kind of like holding ourselves back in that whole thing. So if someone's feeling that way, what suggestion or perspective that you would provide in that particular case?
You mean the lack of confidence?
Yeah, could be confidence, could be something like self-esteem maybe, but it's just like, you know, there's just like, you think you can do it, but you're just not sure. Like you're just kind of like, but there's something that's holding you back kind of thing. And what would you tell, like what would you suggest or recommend to be able to overcome that?
You know, the inner voice, I'm always listening my inner voice. If I get my inner voice telling me, you know what if it was true? What if you are able to do that? What if something else? My inner voice always telling me the truth. And I suggest to everybody to follow your inner voice.
But what if my inner voice is saying I can't do it?
You will be surprised how much you can do when you take one baby step at a time. You would be very surprised.
And it's all about taking one step at a time, right? Like, so Patrick, you know, like you're saying, it's like getting that one step forward and that one step forward, and always just thinking that all you need to do right now is taking that one step forward, and then the next step was going to show up. And we sometimes tend to think that we need to have all the steps figured out all the way to the end in order for us to get going. So again, it goes back to the conversation we had earlier where it was like we need to have all the lights to be green before we move forward. And we tend to think that we need to have all the answers before we move forward. But the very thing is, how else do we ever learn anything in our lives is not by knowing every step of the way, is that by taking one step at a time. You know, so we learn how to walk that way, right? So when we're babies, we learn how to walk. We get up on our feet, start walking one step, fall on the floor, and then get back up again, fall on the floor, because as babies, we have the strong desire to actually walk because we want to walk like everybody else, anything, right? Like we see, we want to be able to move and we want to be able to have that freedom to be able to explore. So we have that strong desire to be like, okay, you know what, I want to walk. And so we just take that one step at a time, fail, you know, make some mistakes along the way, and then learn from it, right? Because we can only really serve others when we have truly served ourselves, you know, when we can only truly care for others if we cared for ourselves first, you know. And if we want to like get into even any type of relationships or anything, you know, relationships with other people, relationship with your business, relationship with anything that you do, if we think about even loving anything as well too, we got to love ourselves first, right? And so by accepting that where we're at and that the only person that we really need validation from primarily is ourselves, right? And if it fits for us, provided that's, you know, it's coming from the heart, right? It's coming from truly a deeper sense of desire, then that's the voice you want to listen to. Because sometimes the voice in here likes to make up things, likes to create fears, likes to create stories, likes to, you know, bring you a whole lot of things that's going to hold you back, right? So this could be something that could block you, but this is going to be the one that's going to be the truth. So when you're following the truth and following that inner voice, like, you know, what you're saying is like that's the inner voice that's coming from the heart, you know, coming from your body from your truth that says, yes, you know, like it's time to make some changes now. Cool. All right. Well, thanks, Pat. Appreciate this. This has been amazing. And looking forward to seeing those videos, actually. I definitely intrigues me. Cool.